Let's start with the truth, not the polished version you put on social media, not the one you tell people so they stop asking questions, but the raw, unfiltered truth about where you are right now in your life. Because here's the reality: you can't rebuild something if you refuse to admit it's broken. And the problem isn't that you're broken. Every single human being gets broken at some point. The real danger is living in denial about it. Most people avoid this step because it's uncomfortable. It's like walking into a house you've lived in for years, turning on the lights for the first time, and realizing there's damage you've been pretending not to see. A leaky roof, cracks in the foundation, mold in the walls. You can cover it with paint, you can rearrange the furniture, but the structure is still unstable, and deep down you know it. When I say face the truth, I'm talking about an act of courage, not an act of self-punishment. This is not about beating yourself up. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, this is where I'm at. This is what I've been doing. This is where I've been lying to myself. And that's hard because the human mind is designed to protect your identity. If you see yourself as strong, it resists acknowledging weakness. If you see yourself as in control, it resists admitting chaos. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the discomfort you feel when your actions don't match your self-image. And what most people do is try to ease that discomfort by changing the narrative instead of changing the behavior. We rationalize, we make excuses, we say, it's not that bad. But here's the truth: until you align your perception with reality, you can't transform reality. I want you to think about your life like a map. If you open up a map app on your phone and it doesn't know your current location, it doesn't matter where you want to go, the directions will be useless. Step 1 is always identify where you are. That's what we're doing here. And I'm not just talking about material circumstances, I'm talking about emotional truth. Where's your confidence? Where's your discipline? Where's your joy? Are you waking up excited about your life, or are you dragging yourself through the day? Be brutally honest, because any rebuilding worth doing starts with a demolition of illusions. Now, here's the beautiful part: once you face the truth, you stop wasting energy pretending. You free up mental bandwidth you didn't even realize was being drained by keeping up appearances. Suddenly, you can use that energy to start making changes. You can ask real questions: what needs to be fixed first? What can be salvaged? What do I need to completely tear down and rebuild from scratch? This isn't just psychology, it's philosophy. The ancient Stoics practiced what they called premeditatio malorum the premeditation of evils. They would deliberately imagine worst-case scenarios, not to become pessimistic, but to become prepared. They understood that clarity comes from confronting reality, not from avoiding it. So right now, I'm asking you to confront your reality. Write it down, speak it out loud, admit it to yourself, because the moment you stop hiding from the truth stops controlling you. It's not weakness to admit where you've fallen short, it's strength. It's the first brick in the new foundation you're about to build. And if you skip this step, if you keep lying to yourself about the state of your life, you're not rebuilding. You're just redecorating a house that's about to collapse. Here's what I want you to walk away with. The truth will set you free, but first it will make you uncomfortable. Don't run from that discomfort, run into it, because that's where the real work begins. If you face the truth about where you are, then here comes the part most people avoid: breaking the old foundation. And I don't mean making a few tweaks around the edges. I mean taking a sledgehammer to the beliefs, habits, and relationships that can't support the life you say you want. Because you can't build something strong on unstable ground. Think about it. If an architect discovers that a building's foundation is cracked, they don't just patch it up and start stacking more weight on top. They strip it down, fix what's beneath, and only then do they start building again. The same principle applies to your life. If the base of your identity is made up of old stories, destructive patterns, or borrowed values that don't serve you anymore, you have to tear them out before you can create something new. The reason this is so hard is because the foundation you have, even if it's weak, is familiar. There's comfort in what we've known for years, even if it's been holding us back. your routines, your mindset, your inner dialogue, they've been with you for so long that they feel like you asterisk, which is why when you try to change them, your brain resists. It's not just breaking habits, it's breaking identity. This is where self-awareness meets courage. You have to ask, what am I holding on to that's keeping me small? Is it the belief that you're not good enough? Is it the idea that failure defines you? Is it the comfort of staying in environments where you don't have to push yourself? Psychologically, this is about letting go of your asterisk secondary gain asterisk. That's the hidden payoff you get from staying the same. Maybe staying in a bad relationship means you never have to risk being alone. Maybe holding on to a victim mentality means you never have to take full responsibility. The truth is, people rarely cling to something unless it's giving them something back, even if that something is toxic. Breaking the old foundation means stripping away those false payoffs, and that process isn't elegant, it's messy. It might mean cutting off relationships you've had for years. It might mean leaving a job that's killing your soul. It might mean confronting truths about your family, your past, or your own role in the life you've created so far. And here's where philosophy helps us. The Stoics, the Buddhists, even modern psychology all agree on this. Attachment is the root of suffering. Not love, not ambition, not desire asterisk attachment asterisk. When you're attached to the way things have been, you sacrifice the possibility of what they could be. So ask yourself, if I stripped everything away, every role, every title, every excuse, what would I have left? Because whatever remains is what's real. That's your true foundation, and you can only discover it once you've demolished everything else. Now, I'm not telling you to burn your life to the ground recklessly. I'm telling you to evaluate every beam, every brick, every supporting wall in your life and ask, does this make me stronger or weaker? Does this bring me closer to the life I want or keep me chained to the one I'm trying to leave behind? If the answer is weaker, if the answer is chained, it's got to go. No matter how much history it has, no matter how many memories are attached to it, no matter how comfortable it's been, because here's the hard truth, you can't rebuild on top of rot. And the longer you delay tearing it out, the more dangerous it becomes. Every day you hold on to something that's not serving you, you're reinforcing the very structure that's keeping you trapped. So if you're serious about rebuilding yourself, be willing to let the wrecking ball swing. Tear down the walls that no longer hold you up. Remove the beams that have been eaten away by time, fear, and doubt. And when the dust clears, you'll be standing on solid ground for the first time in a long time. Here's the thought I want you to carry with you. What you refuse to destroy will eventually destroy you. Be brave enough to break it now, so you can build something that lasts. Once you've faced the truth and broken the old foundation, the next step is mastering your focus, because rebuilding doesn't start with your hands, it starts with your mind. You can have the best blueprint in the world, but if your attention is scattered, your energy leaks out in 1,000 directions, and you end up with nothing solid to show for it. Focus isn't just about paying attention. It's about directing your life force toward what matters most and refusing to feed the distractions that want to steal it. We live in an age where everything is engineered to fragment your attention: your phone, the news cycle, social media, even the people around you who have no vision for themselves. If you don't learn to discipline your focus, you'll spend your days reacting instead of creating. Think about it like a magnifying glass. When the sunlight is diffused, it warms, but it doesn't ignite. But when you focus that sunlight into a single point, it can set something on fire. Your energy works the same way. If you're constantly jumping from one task, one goal, one thought to the next, you'll never generate enough heat to create real change. But when you discipline your mind to focus deeply, consistently, on what matters, you ignite momentum. The truth is, focus is a decision. It's not something you find. It's something you choose and protect, and it requires sacrifice, because every yes to your vision is a no to 100 other things that might feel good in the moment but lead nowhere. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they keep giving their focus to things that don't move the needle. Psychologists talk about attentional control, your ability to consciously direct your awareness to a chosen target and keep it there despite distractions. It's like mental weightlifting. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. That means building habits that protect your focus, controlling your environment, turning off the noise, setting clear priorities, and working in deliberate blocks of time where nothing else exists except the task in front of you. But there's another layer to this. Focus isn't just about what you put your attention on. It's also about what you refuse to put your attention on. You have to develop a kind of mental immunity to negativity, gossip, drama, and self-doubt. Because every time you feed those things with your attention, you're reinforcing them. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you water grows. If you keep watering weeds, you can't be surprised when they choke out the flowers. And this isn't just psychology, it's philosophy. The Stoics understood this centuries ago when they taught that we should only concern ourselves with what is within our control. Your focus is one of those rare things. You can't control the weather, the economy, or other people's behavior, but you can control where you place your attention in any given moment. And in the long run, that control shapes your destiny. When you discipline your focus, something shifts inside you. You stop feeling scattered and start feeling grounded. You stop chasing everything and start building something. You move from being a consumer of life to a creator of life. And when challenges come, and they will, you don't get thrown off course as easily because your focus isn't on the storm, it's on the path forward. So as you rebuild yourself, guard your focus like your most valuable resource because it is. Don't give it away cheaply. Don't waste it on things that pull you further from your vision. Train it, sharpen it, and direct it with intention. Here's the thought I want you to carry with you. Your life will always move in the direction of your dominant focus. Choose wisely, because whatever you feed with your attention will become your reality. Once you've disciplined your focus, the next stage is where the real construction begins, building new habits, brick by brick. This is where you take the clarity you've gained, the space you've cleared, and the focus you've sharpened, and you start laying down the daily actions that will create your future. Most people think transformation comes from huge, dramatic changes, but that's a myth. Real transformation is the result of small, consistent actions repeated over time. It's the accumulation of seemingly minor choices: what you eat, how you spend your first hour of the day, the words you speak to yourself, stacked on top of each other until they form a structure strong enough to support the life you want. The challenge is that the human brain is wired to seek immediate gratification. It wants the payoff now, not in 6 months, not in 3 years. And when it doesn't see instant results, it tries to convince you the effort isn't worth it. That's why so many people start with motivation, but don't finish with discipline. Motivation might get you moving, but habits keep you moving long after motivation fades. Psychologists call this behavioral automation . Once a habit is established, it requires far less mental effort to perform. The action moves from the conscious mind to the subconscious, freeing up mental bandwidth for higher-level decisions. This is why your habits are so powerful. They run in the background, shaping your life without you even thinking about them. But here's the catch. Habits work both ways. They can either be the scaffolding that supports your growth or the chains that hold you back. If your daily routine is built around habits that weaken you, hitting snooze, scrolling endlessly, skipping workouts, avoiding difficult conversations, those habits will quietly erode your potential over time. If, on the other hand, you deliberately install habits that strengthen you, waking up with intention, learning daily, keeping commitments to yourself, they will elevate you without constant struggle. Think of it like building a wall. Every small positive action is a brick. By itself, one brick doesn't look like much, but stack enough of them day after day, and you create something solid, something lasting. That's why consistency is more important than intensity. Doing a little every day beats doing a lot once in a while and then stopping. And this is where philosophy meets practice. Aristotle said, We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. He understood that your character is simply the sum of your consistent actions. You don't become disciplined by thinking about discipline. You become disciplined by living it over and over until it becomes who you are. This is also where many people sabotage themselves. They try to overhaul everything at once. They want to wake up at 5 a.m., run 10 miles, read 50 pages, meditate, journal, eat perfectly, and build a business all in the same week. That's not rebuilding, that's setting yourself up to burn out. Instead, focus on installing one powerful habit at a time. Let it take root before adding another. The key is momentum, not overload. And remember, building new habits isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. You will miss a day. You will slip up. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. The only real failure is quitting entirely. The wall only collapses if you stop laying bricks. So, as you rebuild yourself, see each day as an opportunity to place one more brick toward the life you're building. Don't obsess over how far you have to go. Just focus on the brick in your hand right now. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. Your future isn't built in a day, but it is built daily. Lay the right bricks, and eventually you'll find yourself living inside the life you once only imagined. Once you've started building new habits, you have to protect them. And one of the biggest factors in whether you succeed or sabotage yourself is the people you allow into your environment. You can be disciplined, motivated, and full of vision, but if you surround yourself with people who pull you down, it's like trying to build a skyscraper in the middle of an earthquake zone. The ground keeps shaking, and no matter how well you construct, it won't hold. The truth is, your environment is more powerful than your willpower. We like to think we're independent thinkers, but human beings are wired for social conformity. The people you spend the most time with influence your standards, your beliefs, your habits, often without you even realizing it. Psychologists call this asterisk social contagion asterisk. The way behaviors, attitudes, and emotions spread through groups like a virus. If you're around people who constantly complain, guess what? You'll start finding more things to complain about. If you're surrounded by people who take risks, push themselves, and demand more from life, your brain starts normalizing that level of ambition. In other words, your peer group doesn't just influence you, it asterisk programs asterisk you. That's why, when you're rebuilding yourself, you have to be intentional about your circle. You need builders, not breakers. Builders are the ones who see your potential and push you to rise to it. They challenge you when you're slacking. They celebrate your wins without jealousy. They remind you of your vision when you're tempted to settle. Breakers, on the other hand, can't stand the thought of you growing beyond the version of you they're comfortable with. Sometimes they'll be obvious about it, and sometimes it's subtle, a sarcastic comment, a raised eyebrow, a friendly reminder to be more realistic. And here's the tough part, breakers aren't always bad people. Sometimes they're family, sometimes they're friends you've known your whole life. They're not evil, they're just operating from their own fears, limitations, and insecurities. But if you allow their mindset to constantly drip into your life, it will eventually dilute your own. Philosophers have been warning about this for centuries. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Avoid fraternizing with negative people, for their habits are contagious." Modern science backs this up. Studies have shown that if your close friends are obese, your own risk of becoming obese rises by over 50%. If your close friends are unhappy, your chances of becoming unhappy skyrocket. The people around you are like a thermostat for your life. They set the temperature. And if you don't consciously reset it, you'll unconsciously adapt to theirs. So, what do? You create what I call a asterisk growth environment asterisk. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting everyone out of your life, though sometimes that's necessary. It means being strategic about where you spend your time, who you seek advice from, and whose voices you allow into your head. Spend more time with people who are already living the way you want to live. If you don't have those people in your personal life yet, find them in books, podcasts, seminars, mentorships, or online communities. Your circle doesn't have to be local to be powerful. When you surround yourself with builders, you'll notice something remarkable. You stop having to push yourself alone. The group energy lifts you. Your standards rise naturally. You start thinking bigger, not because you forced it, but because that's simply the air you're breathing. So as you rebuild yourself, remember, you can't grow to your full potential in an environment that keeps you small. If you want to rise, you have to plant yourself in soil that supports growth. Here's the thought I want you to hold on to. The people around you are either scaffolding or sledgehammers. Choose wisely, because they'll help you build your life or they'll help you tear it down. When you've faced the truth, torn down the old foundation, disciplined your focus, built empowering habits, and surrounded yourself with the right people, there's one final piece that separates those who rebuild their lives from those who simply dream about it: commitment. The willingness to stay the course until the vision becomes reality. This is where most people quit, not at the start, but in the middle. The beginning is exciting. The vision is fresh. You're fueled by energy, hope, and maybe even a little desperation. But somewhere along the way, the grind sets in, progress feels slow, obstacles appear, life throws you curveballs you didn't see coming, and that's when the temptation to stop whispers the loudest. What you have to understand is that rebuilding yourself is not a straight path. It's a long, winding road filled with setbacks, detours, and stretches where it feels like nothing is happening. This is where your emotional endurance gets tested. Because it's not enough to want change, you have to be willing to outlast the resistance. Think of any great building: a cathedral, a skyscraper, a bridge that stood for 100 years. The construction didn't happen in days or even months. It took years of relentless work, often under harsh conditions, with no guarantee of success at the start. The builders had to believe in something they couldn't yet see. You have to do the same. Psychologically, this is about delayed gratification, the ability to resist short-term comfort for long-term reward. And it's not just a personal virtue, it's a predictor of success in almost every field. People who can persist through boredom, frustration, and uncertainty are the ones who finish what they start. They don't let a bad day turn into a bad week, or a slow season turn into permanent stagnation. Philosophically, it's about adopting a long-game mindset. The Stoics talked about apatheia, not apathy, but the freedom from being ruled by emotional highs and lows. When you're committed, you're not swayed by every spike of excitement or dip of disappointment. You keep building, no matter the weather, because you know the storm will pass, but the structure you're creating will last. And here's the reality: sometimes you won't feel like it. You won't feel inspired. You won't feel motivated. You won't feel ready, and that's okay. Commitment isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do despite how you feel. Action first, emotion second. Most people wait to feel ready before they act, but the truth is, action creates readiness. Movement creates momentum. It's also important to recognize that your vision will evolve as you move toward it. The life you end up building might not look exactly like the one you first imagined, and that's not failure, that's growth. Commitment doesn't mean rigidly clinging to an outdated plan. It means staying loyal to the principle of progress, even if the path changes. And here's the secret: the day you feel like quitting is usually the day before the breakthrough. Most people never find out because they stop just short of seeing what was possible. They underestimate how close they were. But those who stay in the game, those who refuse to walk away when it's uncomfortable or unclear, they're the ones who get to experience the reward on the other side. So as you rebuild yourself, treat commitment like oxygen. Without it, nothing else survives. Stay in the fight. Keep showing up, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one's watching, even when the results aren't immediate. Here's the thought I want to leave you with: the life you want is built one choice at a time, and every day you stay committed is another brick in the foundation of your future. Don't stop building just because you can't see the full structure, yet keep going until you're living inside it.